Hi everyone, if you're new here, my name is Anna and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I thought I'd bring it back old school because one of my most favourite videos to film were my top 5 series where I talked about my favourite eyeshadow palettes, my favourite top nude lipsticks, my favourite liquid lipsticks, and all good stuff like that. But today I thought I would talk about my top 5 foundations. I'm the type of person that as soon as I find a foundation I like, I stick to it and I use it until it's gone, and then I might repurchase, I might not, depending on sometimes whether or not I think it's worth money repurchasing, or sometimes just depending on whether there's something else new I want to try. But these 5 have been in my collection for a long time. Some of the bottles have actually been run out, and they've been run out for quite a while, but I've always kept them, and I think that's because I do want to repurchase, I want to remember the shade, or sometimes I just like the packaging, so I do like to keep it. Today I'm going to be talking about my top 5 current foundations which I do currently use or have used or have just run out. If there's any other top 5 videos you'd like me to do, then make sure to leave a comment down below and let me know which ones you'd like to see. But yeah, this is going to be my top 5 foundations, and if you want to see what foundations are my favourite, then keep on watching. First up, we're going to talk about this one. This is definitely a favourite. This is actually, I know a lot of people obviously start off with like drugstore foundations, things like that. This was the first foundation I've tried, and you're probably thinking, why would you start with a foundation and this full coverage? My mum, I remember my mum or my sister had a bottle and it was the wrong shade, but it was my shade, so they gave it to me. And this is the MAC Studio Fix Fluid. I have used this now since I started doing makeup, probably about 6 years ago, and I have loved it ever since. I've probably gone through about 10 bottles of this. I love it. It's my holy grail. I have always used the shade NW20. Sometimes it might be a little bit too dark for me, but I make it work and I just drag it down my neck and obviously just blend it out, and then apply. Sometimes I'll use like a lighter powder or something like that, but I have never really changed shade just because I've always found NW20 does typically work for my shade. This foundation is very full coverage and it does smell, which I know a lot of people don't like, but I love the smell of it. I've also at the moment actually brought out Studio Fix Concealer, which I'm dying to try. Honestly, I just love this foundation. I feel like the coverage works amazingly. There's so many different shades they've just recently brought out. I think nearly 60 more shades. Don't quote me on that, but I think around that amount. I feel like for any time of the year, if I use it in summer or winter, I have combination skin, and this definitely works on me. It doesn't oxidize on my skin, although when I put it on the back of my hand and I apply it to my face and I leave the residue on the back of my hand, it oxidizes. On my face it doesn't oxidize, and it always stays on all day. I found that foundation doesn't last very well on my skin, but this definitely lasts. This is about £24, which I feel like, is it about £24 or 21? It's expensive, but not at the higher end of a high-end foundation, and it seems to last me a very long time. It's obviously got the like shaky bottle tube, but you can buy a pump through, which I usually do. This is just an old one. And obviously the best things about MAC as well, and if you save up all your empty products and you take 6 in, you can get a free lipstick. So yeah, I absolutely love this foundation. It's good coverage, it lasts a long time, and there's amazing shade range, and it also goes on well with a beauty blender and a brush. So if you want to try, if there's a foundation you definitely want to try, and it's from MAC, my favourite MAC foundation, and definitely one of my favourite high-end foundations, is definitely the MAC Studio Fix. Sticking with high-end foundations, another one I have to talk about today is the Too Faced Born This Way. I know so many people use this. Everyone, their mum loves this foundation, and I know a lot of people like to get it because they hear like James Charles reviews and it's literally his holy grail. He uses it all the time. I absolutely love this foundation. I did as well buy it because I saw him talking about it, and I bought it when it was quite new out. As you can see now from the bottle, it's completely empty, there's nothing left. I ended up getting the shade Ivory, which at the time I got this around December, although I was obviously very pale because in England it's winter and it's cold. I did get the shade Too Light, where in the UK I had Debenhams stocks Too Faced, so I ended up buying it from there, but there was no one there to really help me swatch my shade and stuff, and I was in a rush, so I just picked up the shade Ivory. It was a little bit too light, so I'm not sure what shade I would be, but if I was to repurchase, I'd definitely like to get shade match, just so I did get the right shade. But I remember this being about £24, and I really did enjoy it. I love the finish of it. It lasted a really long time, which is definitely something I didn't know how well it would last, just because I wouldn't think it would be super full coverage. I don't know why. Medium coverage, but it was definitely full coverage. It was really, really good, and it was really buildable as well. It was probably between a medium to full coverage, but definitely buildable. It used to last on me all day. If I used to go to an event and I would wear it, and I'd obviously go on the tube and the trains to London and back and round the undergrounds, you know it's sweaty, it would used to last really, really well. It didn't settle into my lines, which a lot of foundations do, and when you apply powder over it, you could still see the foundation underneath, and it didn't cake it up, which is really, really good too. I love the undertone of this, and they also have a really good shade range, and also, which a lot of people love, because if you've got oily skin, this is actually oil free. It's like you go oily, it definitely looks hydrating on your skin. And I also love the bottle of this. I mean, Too Faced packaging is always a winner. It's always super pretty, but I absolutely love this foundation, and I've been run out now for around about 6 months. I haven't used it in such a long time, but I do really love it, and I think I'm definitely gonna have to repurchase this soon because it is my favourite, and I have been lost since I ran out. So this foundation I've had for the longest time, and although I know you're supposed to throw away products because of their sell by dates and stuff, I still have it. I recently ran out of it. This is my second bottle of this one. Right, so this is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Liquid Foundation. I know there's a HD stick, which I'm dying to try, but I've never tried it. Yeah, this was actually one of the first things I ever got sent when I started doing blogging, and that was quite a while ago. I got sent this whilst I was at school. I used to wear this foundation to school all the time. This used to be my day-to-day foundation routine. I used to wear this to school. The coverage is really, really good, but it's not super full coverage. Obviously, because it's like Ultra HD and it's used for like definitely not giving flashbacks in photos and stuff, it's not a super full coverage, but it's definitely a buildable coverage. I really like the formula of this. I think it's really nice. Obviously, I got it sent to me. This is the bottle I got sent to me, and they sent me the shade Y315. This was definitely too dark. I used to, come to think of it now, I don't know how I used to wear it to school because it used to be so dark for me. But I just used to drag it down my neck and then put quite a lot of lighter powder on. I don't know why I used to do it to myself, but I love it. And because it was Makeup Forever, and I feel like Makeup Forever is definitely like a real, it feels like a really, in the UK it used to be so hard to get hold of, so to used to have it, it made you feel like quite special. But I really love this foundation. The coverage is really good. Obviously it's a bonus if you are taking photos because it's not going to flash back and stuff, and I just really enjoy the formula, and it's not cakey, and I love that when you wear it you can't feel it on your skin. I recently ran out of my second bottle of this, so I do think I would like to repurchase, but I'm sort of on the bench whether or not I'd like to repurchase the Ultra HD stick or just stick to this, because although I love stick foundations, I do find they don't sit the best on my skin, but I'm not sure if that's just because the ones I've tried aren't the best. But I really, really do enjoy this foundation. I love the packaging. I don't hear as many people going a bit now because obviously this used to be at the top of the foundation game. Everyone used to use this on YouTube, but I still love it, and I still think it's a great foundation. And yeah, that is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD. And I do know now if you live in the UK, you can get it in Debenhams, but you can obviously anywhere else get it in like Sephora and all that good, and everywhere else. So next up is definitely a current favourite foundation. I've only had this about 3 weeks, but I'm really enjoying it. That is the L'Oreal Paris Infallible Pro Glow. So obviously I feel like a lot of people will know what this foundation is. This only recently just came out in the UK, and I'm pretty sure it's only actually available on Amazon, I think. I'm pretty sure. I love this foundation. It is supposed to be up 24-hour wear. I can definitely inform you, I recently wore this foundation on a plane to Dubai. So right, so we're talking about Saturday, right? So last Saturday I actually wore this foundation to Dubai. So I wore it on a Saturday. I put it on at about 10 AM in the morning. I then did everything throughout the day, packed, went shopping, went and got a few last bits, went to the airport around 8 o'clock in the evening, sat around there in the airport. I cried. I went on a 7-hour flight to Dubai. I ended up landing 8 o'clock on the Sunday morning. I didn't take the foundation off. I wore it all the way throughout the day and took it off the following evening. You're probably thinking it's going to look disgusting by now. It's going to look cakey. Why have you still got this foundation on? It lasted. I should have probably vlogged it, the whole experience, to see how long it actually lasts, because it was quite a challenge. But I cried. I touched my face. I was on a plane and it lasted. I mean, you're probably thinking like, yeah, like obviously, to be honest, it was like definitely clinging on to dry skin, and it looked a little bit sparse in places, like obviously like around my nose and like chin and places like that. It had gone, but it was still on. It's a great foundation. The coverage, it's not a super full coverage, which you would obviously think it would be. It does say it's a medium coverage. I definitely agree it's a medium, but obviously if you want to apply one layer and then get your brush and apply again, or just put more on and build it up, it's definitely a buildable coverage. I really like it. It just sits really nice on your skin. For a drugstore foundation, it's absolutely amazing. I would totally recommend it. And obviously if you're from the US, my sister got this for me from Ulta, and then if you're from the UK, definitely just try out Amazon. The shade range is really good. If you think you've got a similar complexion to me, I got the shade 202, which is creamy natural. I think this might be a little bit too light for me, but obviously shows this was quite high up in the light shade department. They've got such a good shade range, and I feel like a lot of foundations have now, but I really like this foundation. It definitely lasts. So if you want a really good long lasting foundation, I definitely give the Infallible Pro Glow a go, and I'm a huge fan. And I just absolutely love this foundation, and because it's got a radiant finish, it's super hydrating and it's great for normal to dry skin. So if you want to try out a drugstore foundation, definitely give this one a go. And last but not least, the last foundation we have to talk about is once again another L'Oreal one. So I think this is definitely one of my favourite foundations. I've used this for absolutely years now, and I feel like definitely drugstore foundations have stepped up the game, and there's a lot more new ones out, but I've loved this. This I used to also wear in school. So about 4 years ago I used to wear this, and I used to swear by it. If anyone used to ask what foundation I use, it would definitely always be this one. And this is the Infallible 24-hour one. This is, I'm pretty sure they've just brought out a new reformulated bottle, or they've changed the formula of some sort, so I'll definitely have to give that a go. But I love this foundation. I always use the shade 140, which is golden beige, which I feel like might be quite dark, but it's not dark. It's a really nice colour. This looks so gorgeous on your skin. I found the formula very comparable to the Too Faced Born This Way, where it makes you look very glowy and it stays on all day, and the coverage is amazing. I just found that this foundation sits really nice on your skin, and other makeup goes on really well over the top. I mean, there's a lot of foundations I use, like maybe some stick foundations, which other makeup doesn't always go on the best over the top because of the formula. This is so good. It's usually on offer in Boots for about £8.99, which is an amazing price, and I just really like it. The colour is gorgeous. It applies, I apply this with a Beauty Blender just because I find it applies really nice with that. You can use a brush, and I do use a brush as well, but with your Beauty Blender this just applies really nice. I just absolutely love it. It's such a good formula. If you've got dry skin, I'd say I used to use this a lot when I used to have a lot more dry skin, and it goes on so nice, and it keeps your face looking hydrated throughout the day. It does go a little bit oily, but that might just be my skin, so always make sure you just have like a little bit of blotting paper or like a spare brush and powder with you on your skin type. But I absolutely love this foundation. It's such a good foundation, and if you're looking for a drugstore one, I would say just definitely branch into L'Oreal and test out one of their Infallible ranges, because I'm sure one's going to be great for you. And I just love this foundation, and it's just amazing. It's super good coverage, and the shade range is excellent too. So definitely, if you're looking for a drugstore foundation, check out L'Oreal. So that is my top 5 foundations. I hope you enjoyed the video. I loved filming this video just because it feels like old times, and I used to love filming videos like this, but definitely just watching them too. So if there's any other ones you'd like me to see, if there's any other ones you'd like me to film, then let me know and I'll be sure to do that. But thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.